Hey, welcome back. I'm Heather. This is video 3 and it's going to be really quick and quiet because I'm in my front yard where I have a lot of plants and garden areas and neighbors. Like people could be watching me right now. So I'm going to just quickly go through the front garden areas and kind of tell you what I have, like a garden tour, I guess, because a lot of the vegetables, all of the vegetables in this area of my front yard, they need to be gone, unfortunately, because of homeowners association rules or HOA regulations. I've got my caladium coleus Boston fern arrangement I've had all summer. The Boston fern, actually, I kept in the house last winter, and I don't think I'm going to keep him this year. It's just a lot of work to keep those guys alive. The Persian shield took a lot of damage in the last week from cold. I may just take cuttings and try to take that in. Just miscellaneous annual type items that are potted. I did just notice my beautiful white, it's like a miniature white rose. Their deer came through last night and had dinner. This guy was looking so good. I had rescued him from a different part of the yard earlier this spring and brought it back to life. It looked gorgeous, lots of white blooms. Oh, there's one. They left one. They left one for us. Well, anyways, so here we go. Let me back this up. Well, I can't do this. So this is the left side of my porch, and I have like a little tomato patch back in here, and let's go see it. I have these little things I got last year, almost last year or the year before, at Costco on clearance for $12.99, and they work mostly to keep the deer from entering this section. So I've got black pineapple that is in ground. Then I have 5 planters here in the front with dwarf tomatoes from the Dwarf Tomato Project, 2 different varieties. One is, I think this one is Summer Sunrise. Beautiful light colored tomatoes. Got some coleus back there, Brandywine Black that has been pretty much decimated from armyworms and hornworms. These 3 planters here in the center are chocolate cherry tomatoes, which my husband loves those. I liked them last year. I don't know if I'll grow them next year though. Over here in the corner, sky pencil that's been here since maybe 10 years ago I planted it. This guy is a privet, and I'm not a fan of privet, but I relocated it from the walkway that we moved. I guess it was last summer, and he survived, and he looks good. I didn't want to kill it. It's like a 20-30 year old shrub, so I thought, let's give it a new home. More coleus, and I do have some hornworms finally that made it to my decorative tobacco, or I guess you could call it nicotina. Supposed to be a dwarf, and I thought I had like a purple color, and here's some. Well, they are kind of purpley. I don't smell it. I don't smell it at all though. It's supposed to smell really good. Lady Laura Camellia. So probably get some pictures of that in the winter. I just moved these planters up here to protect them because the deer were eating these raspberry plants, and it looks like someone came over here and ate some too. Looks like deer, so they are sneaking in here. This little mock orange I put in a planter because I want to take it when we move. Like I mentioned before, I knew we were wanting to move since we got that proclamation early spring that the HOA rules had changed. So when I saw that at Aldi's as a bare root, I was like, it's a great price. I'm just going to buy it and put it in a pot. So here's another defense I have here in this area against the deer. I have fishing line. But they have such long necks. They can reach their necks over here. And sometimes they break the line. I believe this is a kaleidoscope lobelia. And I actually think I'm going to move it. Lemon balm behind it. Okay, here's the front side of the area we just looked at. It does look a little worse for wear, I will admit. Ian did come through here, and I do have some damaged plants, debris, things that I'm still working on cleaning up. Put these ground roses in last fall to kind of cover my planters, and they are not happy. They need more sun, so I think I'm going to dig them up and move them, or pot them to take when we move. Lemon balm loves this location. This is a part sun bed, and these tomatoes do okay here. Especially, I think, like the darker tomatoes seem to do better in more part shade locations. Yarrow looks like it might have a second round. It was beautiful. I think this is a berries and cream variety. Earlier this summer, it got trampled because I had a deer who would sleep here every night. It was like their little sleeping spot. They would lay right on top of the yarrow and just have a nice little soft bed. I put a bunch of the seeds, and they have germinated, most of them. I've got some wallflower, which here in zone 7, this is pretty much a perennial. I did a horrible job keeping it trimmed. Gardenia I'm going to move. I think it needs more sun. This little guy I got on clearance at Home Depot, and it was looking beautiful yesterday. And it was eaten by the deer last night. That is so disappointing. They just won't leave me alone, I swear. This is a really unique shrub, and I don't remember the name. I'll put it here on the screen. It starts with a P, produces berries for the birds to eat in the winter, and I do not see any, but I do see new growth. Maybe I'll take some cuttings from this and try to propagate a couple of plants to have. I was going to say about this section right here, I'm trying not to step on these little seedlings. This whole area at one point was heavenly bamboo, which is horrible for songbirds, and it's toxic to pets and people. So I spent a lot of time digging that out. It's really hard to get rid of. It's very invasive. The seeds produce, and then also the roots. If you leave any bit of the root, it is not good. Some painted daisies that will bloom next year. I planted them this year, so next year they should bloom. I don't remember this ground cover name, but it's really pretty when it's blooming. A lilac that I have potted up so I can take it. That was a preemptive thing I did early this summer. It's so much happier back here too, and this side of the house. It's supposed to be like a dwarf, but it's really put on a lot of beautiful new growth. This is my graveyard section here, and it's where I put stuff I really don't like that much, or I don't know what to do with it. Like mums. I don't like mums, but I have a lot of mums for some reason. Some wild aster that planted itself, and the bees will love this in October. I say, yeah, it's October now, so now through maybe the beginning of November, they will absolutely love this. So I left it, even though it's really invasive and wild. Some azaleas that were here when we moved in, but I've been trimming them and feeding them and taking real good care of them the last couple years, so they look really good. And this privet, don't like privet, but it's here, it's functional, it has a home, so I'm not going to take it out. I'm just going to let it be safe there and happy. It's been there for years and years. I do keep it trimmed so the dog can't eat it through the fence. It is toxic. So that is this little side of the house, and it's rough looking now, and it needed some TLC, and all of these tomatoes will be gone. And then the other side of the front porch is this section. I've got these Rainbow Treasure strawberries that I planted about 2.5 weeks ago from cuttings, where I just cut the runners and just stuck them in the dirt and kept them moist. They looked really, really rough and looked like they were dying, and now they're starting to put some green and new little growth back out. This area right in front of that normally looks so much better. Hearty Hibiscus, I have 3 here. Of course, they're rough now. 3 Hearty Hibiscus. I have 2 perennial spikes here. And then I have a bunch of gladiolus planted in here, but I'm digging those up because they looked really horrible here, raggedy. Just, you can see, just falling over. I'm gonna dig those up. And I have a bunch of bulbs and random things. But this guy, look at this. This is a decorative ornamental oregano, and I think it's gorgeous. I grew it in the winter sowing method, and I really didn't think it was going to make it, and it's been real slow growing, very slow growing, but now it's starting to really just look, oh no, I just broke off a piece, really starting to look gorgeous. Coleuses are everywhere because I grew a bunch of babies from seed and I just kind of stuck them everywhere. This is a really unique plant. I don't know if it's native. I got it in a nursery last summer. It is a good plant for boggy areas that are in the shade. So this little pocket is shade. And I'm going to look up the name. But look at how cool looking that is. A beautiful dark foliage. And since I put these here, I had more, but I dug some up to put in a pot to take with me. All of this area is no longer like swampy-ish. I had a lot of mosquitoes, like if I'd sit up here on the front porch, and that's really dried this area out. So this is a very effective plant for boggy areas. Some more of the Nicotina. I planted it in 3 locations so that I could do like kind of an experiment. Where did it grow the best? And you're supposed to be able to smell it, but I really cannot at all. And I had read in a gardening book, if you plant this or tobacco, your hornworms will be attracted here. Like it's a trap crop. That didn't happen for me. I only had 1 hornworm like 2 days ago on these plants. Other than that, only my tomatoes have been affected by hornworms. So for me, it did not work. Navajo Blackberry, I snuck here. I accidentally pulled this blackberry root up last fall, so I just stuck it in the ground, and he's pretty happy, but he did not produce any fruit. Part of that could be the deer. They love to eat blackberry, raspberry, well, pretty much any kind of berry. Actually, they eat everything here, even stuff that's not supposed to be eaten by deer. Plants that are deer resistant, like camellias. This was an experiment. This was a sucker that I just put into this pot and wanted to see if I could trellis it across the same little hooks I had up here for the cucumber. And I got a couple of babies, but I don't know if they'll get big enough before our first frost. Some Dusty Miller. I've never planted Dusty Miller in Virginia. I'm from Kentucky, a zone 6. We're a zone 7. I wonder if this will be perennial for me here in Virginia. Never been a big fan of this, but I kind of like it here. Got some snapdragons that I just replanted here about a month ago. I think they're starting to do okay. Got this on clearance. Now, I know I said I didn't like mums, and I don't. I really don't, but I was going to make one of those pumpkin planter displays with like a scarecrow and some corn stalks. I thought, well, it's on clearance. It's cute. And the Lowe's lady told me it was the only one she had left like it because it had the little yellow dot in the middle. Here's my yellow rose bush. I just took a bunch of cuttings from this. It looks like the deers just came through and ate it, but actually I cut it. I pruned it, and it's a really large bush. I pruned it because I want this to take with me, and it's too big for me to dig up. And I planted it the day my brother died several years ago, and I love this bush, and it has sentimental value to me, so I really need those cuttings to take root. We'll see. Okay, so this is called Corsica Mint. I grew this from seed this spring, and it's just gorgeous, and it takes over and kind of hangs down gorgeously. There's some chocolate mint I've got hiding here. Tried moving this in the front, but it just got so much sun, it was so unhappy. I love the smell of it though. So I've got some black pearl peppers. Now, I don't know if these are considered a vegetable to the HOA. I consider them ornamental. No, there's Jeffrey. So we'll see. I think I'm going to leave them and see what they say about this. I will take out this guy that didn't do very well. He's very stunted. He's just now starting to reduce slightly. I have some more habaneros in the backyard that did great, phenomenal. And just some random stuff I've got potted. I did have 3 Peron tomatoes on these small tomato spikes, and they did fine on that. I had 2 in the ground and 1 in the pot. I took those out about 2 weeks ago. They were really looking rough and so many hornworms. I would show you guys this area here, but you can see that Hurricane Ian's winds really whipped this area pretty flat. There's some celosia kind of damaged and flopped over, a lot of straw flowers, and I had this one volunteer zinnia. It was a really kind of unique color, I guess, and it's flat. And the 9 bark here, I love it, but it looks sick. So if anyone can recommend, I think it needs iron maybe. I'm going to mix up my little mixture that I give my tomatoes. It's like Tums and iron and a little dash of blackstrap molasses, and see if that helps him. Normally it's just stunning and gorgeous. And well, I need to show you this. This is a patio peach. This is my daughter's tree. We got this on clearance. Well, it wasn't really on clearance. It was on sale at Kroger. And it was only $10.99. $10.99. But when we got it, it did not look like that. It was like a twig with a broken arm. One of these arms, yeah, I think it was that arm was broken, and it had a soft spot right there on that hump where they had taken a cutting. It just looked horrible, but look at it. It's gorgeous. It produced tons of peaches this summer, and they didn't taste that good, but it's just a gorgeous plant. Hey, it's Heather, and this is part 2 of video 3. Today, my daughter and Tonto and I are at Pocahontas State Park taking a quick hike before I get back home and do some more destroying of my garden, like taking things down. Earlier you saw that I gave you a quick tour of another section of the garden. So now I can take down those tomato plants, clean up, make it presentable before my next HOA inspection. So I wanted to introduce Tonto because he is a big part of our family and the garden life, actually, because everywhere I go, he goes pretty much. So I'm gonna show you Tonto. He is 4 years old. He's a good boy and he's very gentle. He has some issues, very sensitive stomach, extreme separation anxiety. So he makes us kind of homebodies, but also outdoor people because we go places we can take him. He's part of the family. We go on vacation, he goes on vacation. So there you go. We're near the end of the hike and we love this section. There's all of these gorgeous, I don't know if it's a moss. I'm not sure what it is, but they remind me of something from Dr. Seuss. And there is Mr. Tonto again, and we are about ready to get back to the car and finish up the day. So thank you for watching. Please continue to watch if you want. I appreciate you sharing in the journey of what's to come. Thank you. Bye.